This conference will now be recorded.
Okay, just a recap of what we discussed yesterday before we go to the new topic today. Okay, we understood that SAP is an ERP. Okay, ERP means Enterprise Resource Planning, and the ERP is one kind of software which allows you to perform various different processes within an organization in the integrated way in the single software. Instead of using different softwares, ERP allows you to perform all your business processes or most of your business processes in a single software. Right. So when we talk about the business processes, it includes the recruitment, production. So these are various different examples. Okay, and then we understood ERP is a longer term. ERP doesn't mean SAP. ERP is not equivalent to SAP. There are a lot of other ERP vendors who are also providing same kind of software. Okay, so SAP is one of the software which is provided as a ERP software. But apart from SAP, there is Oracle Labs, there is Microsoft Navision, Dynamics, and many more that you will find in the market. But the thing is, you will find that more than 60% of the market share is captured by SAP, and remaining 40% is shared by all others. So you can see how powerful is SAP in terms of the ERP. Okay, and then we understood the history of SAP, where we discussed that how exactly SAP got started. So it was the Xerox was a client who was looking to integrate all their business processes, and they given the project to IBM. Okay, but due to some reason, later on Xerox said no more need to develop this product as we got some other alternative. But the consultants or the employees, IBM employees who were working on this project, they decided that they were not going to stop developing this software. They will continue to develop this software even if they need to leave the company. Okay, so they left the company and they started developing this software. And finally, in 1972, they founded SAP as a company. In 1979, the first product which they launched was SAP, which was having finance and payroll module. And slowly, they kept on adding more and more functionalities, and they came up with different versions. Okay, and today when we are talking about SAP, the latest product which is available from SAP is SAP S4HANA, which was launched in the year 2015. Okay, and after 2015, every year SAP is coming up with the latest version. Okay, so which means when SAP started launching SAP S4HANA software, the first version was 1511. I told you 15 stands for the year and 11 stands for the month. So 1511, 1610, 1709, 1809, and in another 1 or 2 months, we will also hear from SAP that 1909 has been launched. Okay, coming to now, what is SAP S4HANA Finance? So we discussed that in SAP there are a lot of different business processes. There are more than 60, 70 business processes. We are not only talking about seven. There are more than 60, 70 business processes which are available in SAP. Okay, out of that, we are just understanding one business process. Okay, that is finance. Okay, so normally we call it SAP FICO. I told you the reason. SAP FICO means more of FI and basics of CO. But if you want to expertise in this management accounting area, then there is a separate course called as SAP CO. Okay, but the recommendation is first you go for FI, gain some experience, work in the industry for at least 3-4 years, and then go for the CO course. Okay, so now within FI, what are the things which are covered, and within CO, what are the things which are covered? So basic difference I told you, FI is financial accounting, controlling is management accounting. So being the financial accounting, it includes those topics which are relevant to the external reporting. Okay, so whenever you are generating any kind of reports for the external entities like your auditors, your tax, your companies, okay, then you are going to use financial accounting. Okay, and within the financial accounting, what are the different things that you can do? You can do the general ledger accounting, you can perform AP and AR related transactions, you can perform bank transactions, and you can perform the fixed assets. Okay, so these are on the higher level 5 different components in SAP FI. Similarly, if we talk about CO, which is mainly for the internal reporting purpose, which is not mandatory, it totally depends upon the company's requirement, what they want to use. Okay, so we can have some budgets in the system. We can have the cost center accounting, which means department wise, if you want to track the cost. Profit center wise reporting. So let's say if I want to generate the profit and loss based on my product, based on my region, that can be easily done in the profit center accounting. Then you have product costing if you want to derive the cost of the product, whatever product you are manufacturing. If you want to know what is the cost so that I can decide the selling price, so that part comes under the product costing. And finally, we have the profitability analysis, which is COPA, which is similar to profit center accounting, but I told you in profit center accounting, your product, your region can be the profit center. But if I have multiple dimensions, I don't want the report only product wise. I want the report product wise, region wise, customer wise, salesperson wise. I have 10 different dimensions. So in that case, profit center accounting will not work. We need to use profitability analysis, which is a kind of reporting tool which will give you the information in multiple dimensions, just like a pivot that we create in Excel. Okay, so that is profitability analysis. Okay, so these are the things that we discussed yesterday. What are we going to do today is we are going to see the SAP system and we are going to understand how to set up the FI part so that we can start working on the processes. Okay, so any questions related to the topics that we discussed yesterday before I show you the SAP system? Is this clear, everyone? Okay, okay. So let me connect to the system. Okay, don't worry, I'll tell you how you are going to connect to the system later on. Okay, so wherever you are working, in whatever company, when you start working on SAP, if you want to log in into SAP, you will get this logon pad. Okay, so this is a shortcut which will connect you to the SAP system. So if you double click on this, it will open like this, where you can have different servers. Okay, so different server means, let's say you are working on two different customers. Okay, so they have two different systems, right? So you need to connect to the customer one or maybe the customer two. You can create a list of those systems that you want to edit here. I'll show you how to do that. But as of now, we have only one system, and that is SAP S4HANA 1809, which is the latest version available in market. So what are you going to do is you are going to double click on this. Okay, when you double click on this, it will ask you the user ID and password. Just similar to any other software, it will ask you who wants to log in. Okay, so I'll provide you the user ID. You have to enter the user ID and you have to enter the password. Okay, just press enter. This is the language. Okay, so what happens is whenever you are connecting to the SAP system, SAP provides different languages. Okay, so English is one of that. There are a lot of other languages like German, French, all those languages are available. Okay, so if I change the language, all the screens that will appear in that particular language. That is the reason SAP is so popular, because it has a flavor of like if I'm using this system in Germany, I can use in German. If I'm using this system in France, it will be French. If I'm using somewhere else, so based on that, it will automatically change the language accordingly. Okay, so I'll log in with English. I'll press enter. Okay, don't worry about this error. Just as of now, I will just close this. Okay, and then you will get a, this is called as SAP Easy Access screen. Okay, so first one was SAP Logon Pad. This was a SAP Logon Pad, which you will get on the desktop. Okay, or wherever you want to save the shortcut. Okay, once you got the shortcut, you will double click on this. When you double click on this, it will ask you for user ID and password. Once you enter the user ID and password, it will open your Easy Access screen. This is called as SAP Easy Access. Now, in this one, this is a screen that normally the end user will get whenever he log in. Okay, who is the end user? End user means the person who is actually going to post the documents. Okay, so let's take an example. You are working in one of the project where the customer is a manufacturing company, and in this manufacturing company they must have a lot of accountants who are going to take care of general ledger accounting, AP, AR. So those are the guys who are actually going to post the transactions in the system, right? So when they log in, they will be getting this screen. Okay, now within this, you can see there are a lot of different functionalities. You can do human resourcing, you can do logistics. Within logistics, you have manufacturing. See, these are the different modules. Within logistics, you can go for manufacturing, sales and distribution, production, materials management. Okay, there are a lot of other things, project systems. Slowly you will understand quality management, plant maintenance. So these are nothing but different modules that are available in SAP. Okay, similar to that, you will find HR. Within HR, you will find payroll, time management, personal management. Okay, so these are the topics which are related to the HR. Similarly, you will find accounting. Okay, again in accounting, we don't have a single module. In accounting also, we have a lot of different modules. So we have financial accounting, that is what exactly we are learning here, right? Then you have FSCM, which is altogether a separate module, which is kind of, it is not actually accounting, but it helps the companies in the financial management. Okay, controlling, we discussed. So these are the two things that we are going to discuss. This we are going to discuss in detail, and this just the basics of controlling. Okay, and then you have project systems, you have joint venture accounting, you have public sector management, you have bank applications. So these are the other topics which comes under the financial area. Okay, but what we are going to discuss is within accounting, we are going to talk about financial accounting and basics of controlling. Okay, so if I show you the financial accounting, you can see this is exactly what we discussed. We are going to talk about general ledger accounting. We are going to talk about AR, AP, banks, fixed assets. So these are the 5 components that I wrote earlier. Okay, and these are just the additional functions, okay, which are common between all. So basically, when we talk about FI, it consists of the 5 components: general ledger accounting, accounts receivables, accounts payables, banks, and fixed assets. Okay, similarly, if I just come out of this and go to controlling module, I told you cost center accounting, internal orders, product costing, COPA, profit center accounting. Okay, there are one or two more: cost element accounting and activity based costing. Again, these are some of the things which are related to all the different submodules within SAP CO. So mainly, just remember 5: cost element accounting, cost center accounting, product costing, COPA, and profitability analysis. Sorry, and profit center accounting. Okay, so these are the 5 components that we have in controlling, and these are the 5 components that we have in FI. Okay, so this is a screen that your end user will use whenever they want to do any transaction. Okay, let's say an end user just want to post a normal FI document. He wants to debit a GL and credit a GL. Okay, so in that case, you will go to the general ledger accounting. Okay, within general ledger accounting, there is a document entry because you want to post a new document. And you can see this is a screen which will allow you to enter the transaction. Okay, so if I double click on this screen, it will open the screen which I can use to post a transaction. So what is going to be my posting date? What is going to be my document date? We'll talk about this. What are these different dates? Okay, here you need to enter the GL account, which GL account you want to debit, which GL account you want to credit. This is a debit and credit indicator, how much amount. Okay, so this all things we will discuss. What I want to show you is these are the different screens which the end user can use to perform the transaction. And you can see for each and every screen, there is this 4-digit code. This is called as a transaction code. Okay, why this is provided? So let's say, for example, if you want to post a document, what you need to do? You need to go to accounting. Okay, you need to go to financial accounting, general ledger accounting, document entry, and FP50. So you need to remember that path. But if I don't want to remember the path, if you just remember this transaction code, FP50, this is a place provided by SAP to enter the transaction code, FP50. It will automatically take you to that transaction. It is just kind of a shortcut. Okay, so for each and I'll not say each, but 99% of the cases, you will find there is a transaction code. Okay, so if I go to FB50, it will also take me to the same screen, even if I am completely out of this. Okay, I'm just entering FB50 here, and it will take me to the necessary transaction. Okay, so this is called as transaction code. So each and every screen in SAP has a transaction code. You can use that transaction code to connect to the transaction. Okay, so this is about how this SAP Easy Access looks like. Okay, so this is a these are the different modules which are available, and within the modules, what are the components available, and finally the transactions that you are going to perform. Okay, so just remember one thing: any software. Have you worked on any software previously? May not be SAP. Any software that you remember? You worked on Tally. Okay, so you worked on Tally. So Tally, any other software, if any one of you remember? Anyone? Minal, Vaibhav?
We do tally only.
Sorry,
Tally only. Tally.
Tally only. Okay,
Yes.
okay, no problem. So why I'm asking this is any software. So it can be even. I think everyone is using banking softwares, banking apps. Everybody is using IRCTC for railway ticket booking. Everybody is using either make my trip or something to book the flight tickets. Okay, so these are also the softwares, right? So what I wanted to tell you is in every software there are 3 layers. Okay, there is something called as presentation layer. There is something called as application layer, and finally there is something called as database layer. Okay, so what do you mean by presentation layer, application layer, and database layer? Okay, let's take an example of anyone. Okay, let's say IRCTC. So can you tell me when you book the ticket, IRCTC ticket or flight ticket or movie ticket? Okay, don't get confused that I don't use IRCTC. My question is, whenever you are booking any kind of tickets, from which device you book the ticket? You are booking from mobile. Okay, either you book from mobile or you book from laptop or you book from computer or you book from tab, right? So these are the different options that you use to book the ticket. Okay, similarly, it is not only about ticket booking. Whenever you are doing any transactions, okay, let's say even in SAP is also the software. If you want to post anything in SAP, you either need a laptop or you need a computer. As of now, mobile and tabs are not supported. If I'm talking about SAP ECC, okay, so till this time, if I'm using old version of SAP, which is SAP ECC before 2015, SAP ECC will allow me to book the transaction through computer, through laptop. Mobile and tab was not supported. Okay, so this devices that I use to perform the transaction, these devices are called as presentation layer. So my presentation layer is nothing but the device that I'm using to do the transaction. This is a presentation layer. Okay. Now let's talk about which application you use. Whenever you are booking the ticket, movie ticket, you are booking the flight ticket, you are booking the train ticket, which is the app that you use? Paytm, Book My Show, Make My Trip, right? What are these? These are nothing but applications. Okay, Paytm, Book My Show, Make My Trip, okay, or whatever different applications that you are using. So what happens is, whenever you are using these applications, these are nothing but the application layer. Okay, and finally, once you book the ticket, your information, seat number, all this information, is it getting stored in your presentation layer or in the application layer? Let's say if I store whatever tickets you booked, if I store that information in your mobile, if your mobile is gone, do you think the ticket is gone? No. Ticket is not gone. Why?
It will be in a database layer.
Because it is not getting stored in the presentation. It has nothing to do with your device, right? At the same time, let's say my Paytm app got like uninstalled mistakenly, or it got deleted, or it got hanged. Does it mean my ticket is gone? No, because application is just allowing you to do the transaction. Okay, but once the transaction has taken place, it will get stored in the database, right? So ultimately, everything is going to the database layer. Whatever data is getting stored, that will go to the database layer. So these are the three layers that you have in most of the softwares. Okay, presentation, application, and database. So database, now we don't know. Whenever we are doing any transaction, we don't know which database Paytm is using, which database BMS is using, which database Make My Trip is using. So they can use some of the very popular databases are Oracle, you have Microsoft SQL, okay, DB2. These are some of the databases that I'm talking about. Okay, so maybe if you're not sure about these databases, you don't need to worry. We are not going to go that much technical in the system, but just understand there are three layers: presentation layer, application layer, and database layer. Similarly, all these layers are in SAP also. Whenever you are going to use SAP, you are going to use presentation layer to do the transaction. It will call some application in the background, and finally the data will get stored in the database. Okay, and that is the reason SAP was, I'm not saying today, SAP was also known as SAP R3. This was a previous version. So even before SAP ECC came into picture, there was SAP R3. R3 means three tier architecture. Now, what is three tier architecture? Three tier architecture means there are three layers: presentation, application, and database. So if anyone is asking you what is R3, so even you are currently learning SAP S4HANA, that doesn't mean that whenever you are going for the interviews, the interviewer is already going to ask you the questions on S4HANA. Okay, they will expect some basics from, like, what is the very important thing that we forgot. What is the full form of SAP? Okay, so what is SAP? As a fresher, they will definitely ask you these questions. What is SAP? What is the three-tier architecture in SAP? Which are the three layers in SAP? So you need to remember all these things as a fresher. Once you got experience, nobody is going to ask you these questions because these are on paper. Definitely, people will ask you the questions on the practical part, right? So this is a three-tier architecture which is consists of the presentation, application, and database. Okay, so very important thing that we forgot yesterday is what is the full form of SAP. We understood the full form of ERP, but what exactly is the full form of SAP? Any idea? Software applications. Two words are correct.
System applications and products. System applications.
Systems, applications, and products.
Products.
but this is half the full form of SAP. Okay, systems, applications, and products. If you tell this answer, it is not a complete answer. Okay, systems, applications, and products. Very important is in data processing. You have to add this. Systems, applications, and products in data processing. This is the full form of SAP. Okay, systems, applications, and products in data processing. Okay, now coming to the layers, right? So presentation, application, database. Okay, so now let's talk in SAP terminologies. What is the presentation layer that we are using currently? If I'm going to this system, if I'm connected to this system, what is my presentation layer? What is my presentation layer? How I connected to SAP? Using which device?
Logon pad. SAP
Currently,
logon.
no. SAP logon is not a device. I'm talking about the presentation. What is my presentation server currently? Laptop, right? Currently, I'm connected via laptop. So my laptop, which I'm using currently, is nothing but the presentation layer. Okay, so for me, the presentation layer is laptop. Right? And which application I'm connected to? This is the SAP logon pad. This is the application. SAP S/4HANA 1809 is an application. Okay, SAP S/4HANA 1809. This is not an application. This is a tool which is allowing me to connect to the application. Okay, whatever applications are there, they will come here. So if I double click, how are you going to check which is the application? You can go to the system status. Okay, and here you can see the product version. Just click on this details button, and the application that we are talking about is, maybe you can go to the installed product versions, and this one, SAP S/4HANA on-premise 1809. Okay, so this is the application that we are using. We are using application SAP S/4HANA on-premise 1809. Okay, so which is our application? The application that we are using is SAP S/4HANA 1809. Our presentation layer is our laptop that we are using to connect to SAP S/4HANA 1809. The application is SAP S/4HANA 1809, and the database. How will we know which database is being used in the background? So if I again go to status, okay, same path, wherever I am. Okay, here you can see this is the SAP system data, which is application data. Here you can see the database data. So I am using HDB. HDB means HANA database. SAP HANA database. Okay, so the database that I'm using is SAP HANA. Okay, so in the example that I gave you, I told you Oracle, Microsoft, DB2 are some examples of database. Even there is one more example of database is HANA. Okay, and SAP S/4HANA, this application, SAP S/4HANA will only work on SAP HANA database. It will not work on any other database. ECC, the old version of SAP, it was working on any database. There are a lot of customers who are using SAP today, ECC, not S/4HANA, older version. So there are a lot of customers who are using ECC on Oracle, on SQL, on DB2. Okay, but when we are talking about SAP S/4HANA, which is launched after 2015, customer cannot use SAP S/4HANA without HANA database. That is the reason the name itself. What do you mean by SAP S/4HANA? SAP S/4HANA itself means the SAP system which will only work on HANA database. Okay, that is the reason the HANA is in the definition itself.
It is the main difference between SAP
ECC and S/4HANA. Yes, the basic difference between ECC and S/4HANA is in ECC we can use any different database in the background, but when it comes to SAP S/4HANA, we cannot use any other database. SAP HANA is the only option available. Okay, and why HANA? There are a lot of benefits of HANA. HANA is a tool which is launched just now, maybe around 7 years back. Okay, and it is totally based on the new technologies. It is making the use of the RAM, it is making the use of the CPUs, okay, and it is making sure that the speed at which you can do the transactions is maximum.
But sir, can it is also the drawback for S/4HANA because we don't use this database in these different softwares like Oracle, Microsoft, SQL. So why company go for S/4HANA instead
Companies,
of
yes. So let's say you cannot say it as a drawback, but it is something which, yes, you maybe as a customer, if I'm already using Oracle, I need to replace my database from Oracle to HANA. So for a customer, it is a tedious task. But the thing is, as I told you, SAP HANA provides you speed. Okay, so if a customer is already using Oracle, they are using Microsoft, there is a problem that every customer is facing, that is the speed. So if you are using SAP ECC, the very common complaint from the customer is that our business processes are not running faster, they are too slow. When we are executing the reports, it is taking a lot of time to execute the report. And that is the reason SAP came up with their own database, SAP HANA, which works faster. So whenever a company is saying, why should we go for S/4HANA, the basic reason is you will get a speed. Okay, any questions on this now? You understood what is presentation, what is application, and what is database, and very important thing that SAP S/4HANA will work only on SAP HANA database. Any question on this?
Sir, I have one question. Can ECC run on SAP HANA database or HANA database?
Yes.
Okay.
So I'll come to that point. Next topic is that only. The question is, if I told you ECC can run on any database. So in ECC you can use Oracle, you can use Microsoft, you can use DB2. Can I use HANA? Yes. If you are using ECC, you can also use HANA. But if you are using S/4HANA, then only HANA.
Okay.
In ECC you have a choice. You can go for HANA. But in S/4HANA you don't have a choice. You only need to go on HANA. Right, but I'll talk about that. Just give me a minute, and the next topic is that only. Okay, let me give the full form of S/4HANA. What is the full form of SAP S/4HANA 1809? It stands for SAP Business Suite. Okay, suite. Normally in German they call it suite.
Okay.
So SAP Business Suite for SAP HANA. So this 4 stands for.
Okay.
Okay, so SAP Business Suite. What do you mean by Business Suite? Suite means application. Okay, so again, this is a terminology difference, but again, you can call it SAP Business Application. But the standard full form is SAP Business Suite for SAP HANA. What does it mean? It means the business application, which is developed by SAP, which will solely work on SAP HANA database. Okay, so maybe I'll just give you the small history of S/4HANA. See, I told you in 2005, SAP introduced SAP ECC. All right, if you just go this one, in 2005, SAP introduced SAP ECC. Okay, so there were a lot of new functionalities which are available in SAP ECC. Okay, functionality wise, very good product. Okay, challenges जो थे, there were some challenges. One of the challenge was speed. Although I'm getting all my functionalities are working perfectly fine. But the thing is, it is taking a lot of time to do the transaction. It is taking a lot of time to generate a report. Okay, so customers started complaining that the speed is too slow, do something for the speed. Okay, so now till that time, when we are talking about SAP ECC on 2005, at that time, SAP don't had their own database. HANA tha hi nahi. SAP was totally dependent database के लिए Oracle, Microsoft, DB2. Okay, SAP don't had their own database. अभी speed का issue है. If there is a problem in the speed, then this speed issue can be solved in the database only. What should SAP do? SAP cannot help. Okay, SAP can give some kind of workarounds, but ultimately root cause तो कभी भी नहीं होगा because we are totally based on the third-party databases. So let's say when SAP came this with SAP ECC in 2005, around 2007, 8, 9 May, there were a lot of customers who were complaining about the speed. Right? So that was the time when SAP thought इसको कैसे सुधारा जाए, how to take care of the speed, and that is where they decided let's develop our own database which will solve the speed issue. Okay, and finally that database was available in 2011. In 2011, SAP launched SAP HANA database. It is a database, application नहीं है, application ECC ही है अभी भी. S4 HANA कब आया? It came in 2015. So when SAP launched SAP HANA in 2011, at that time S4 HANA तो था ही नहीं, तो ये SAP HANA को कहाँ यूज करना है? You have to use it with ECC.
तो उसके लिए SAP HANA launch हुआ.
Right, that is the reason why SAP launched SAP HANA. Okay, so in 2011 SAP started or SAP launched SAP HANA, which means जो भी customers 2011 के बाद में जिन्होंने SAP implement किया, okay, they got a choice. They can think about Oracle, Microsoft, DB2, or they can go for HANA. Okay, so the answer is yes, it is possible that SAP ECC customer can use SAP HANA database. Okay, but when it comes to SAP S4 HANA, it is mandatory to use HANA database. You got your answer, Gautam?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So HANA ka actually there is no full form, but normally they this is just a rough. This is not a 100% correct full form, but they just normally just say this one: highly analytic appliance. So H stands for high analytic, AN appliance. Highly analytic means you can perform your reportings faster. Analytics means reporting. Okay, so highly analytic appliance is nothing but SAP HANA. Okay, but don't worry about this full form. This is not actually full form. Just it was kind of लोगों ने अपना बनाया या क्या पता नहीं, but it was in the market. Okay, but it is not an official full form of HANA. Okay, but in short, this is a database which is much more faster compared to the traditional databases that we were using in ECC. Okay, so the homework for you, those of you who are already working on SAP, wherever you are working, you just go to system, status, and find out which version customer is using, okay, which application they are using. You will be getting here this information. So we are using SAP S4HANA on premise 1809, and second is which database they are using. Okay, so here you will be getting Oracle, DB2. If you are not using S4HANA, you'll be able to see Oracle, DB2, Microsoft, whatever different databases are available in the market. So every customer is different. Some customers are using Oracle, some customers are using SQL Server. Okay, and somewhere you will find they are already using HANA database. Okay, now any questions on the topics that we discussed till now? No questions? Okay, so just give me a minute. We will first go through the slides of the topics that we already discussed, and then we will continue further for the next topics. or maybe if I already have those slides. Okay, don't worry about logo and all. I just completed the training here, so okay. Or maybe we will remove it shortly. Okay. Okay. So just same thing that we discussed. So SAP FICO is a core functional component in SAP ERP. Okay, so this is central component means SAP ECC. Okay, so we can even replace this with S4 HANA. Okay, so SAP FICO in short is a central core functional component which is used in SAP system that allows the organization to manage its financial data. The purpose of FICO is to help companies generate and manage the financial statements, these balance sheet and profit and loss, and reporting, which and help with effective business planning and decision making. Okay, so when we say financial statements for analysis, this is external reporting. When we say effective business planning and decision making, this is internal reporting. Right? SAP FICO consists of two modules, SAP Finance and SAP Controlling, each of which is used for the specific financial purpose. SAP FI deals with overall financial reporting and accounting, while SAP CO focuses more narrowly on planning and monitoring the cost. SAP FI and CO were originally released as a separate module. Okay, even today, although SAP says FI CO is a common module, but even today also we believe that FI and CO are two separate modules. Okay, so it is saying, but now they are tightly integrated that many people refer to them simply as one module. Normally, कोई भी अगर fresher आता है and he wants to learn SAP FI, तो FI नहीं बोलेगा, he say FICO. I want to learn FICO. The reason is because these two components are very tightly integrated. Okay, otherwise these are two separate components. Okay, so this is something that I just shown you. So it consists of general ledger accounting. Okay, you can see general ledger accounting, accounts receivables, accounts payables, banks, and fixed assets. Okay, so what is the purpose of all this? What do you do in general ledger accounting? What you do in AR? What you do in AP? So general ledger accounting includes all general ledger accounts that are used for reporting, are managed through general ledger accounts. Okay, which means, let me clarify this. Whenever you are going to debit or credit, whenever we are talking about accounting entry is all about debit and credit. So if you want to debit something, if you want to credit something, you need that something, right? You need that account, expense account, bank account, asset account, customer account, vendor account. So those are the GLs, general ledgers that we need to create. Even we create in Tally, right? The accounts, ledgers, right? So those accounts we create in the general ledger accounting, and the manual JVs that we post, that we also post in general ledger accounting. When you talk about accounts receivables, this is everything related to customer. Okay, whenever we are creating a customer, whenever we are generating the bill or invoice of that customer, whenever we are receiving the payments from that customer, whenever we want to take the advances from the customer, these are all the examples of accounts receivables. Okay, so account receivable is a submodule that captures all transactions with customer and manage the customer accounts. Completely same for vendors is AP. Okay, so whatever we do for customers, same Vendor send us invoice, we make the payments, sometimes we make the advance payments. So all those transactions related to supplier. Supplier and vendor is one and the same thing. Okay, so normally in SAP we call it the vendor, but just remember vendor equal to supplier. Okay, so accounts payable is a submodule that captures all transactions with vendors and manages the vendor accounts. Then you have asset accounting. Asset means fixed asset. So whenever you are purchasing any fixed asset, any vehicle, any furniture, any building, you need to properly account that. Okay, you need to properly depreciate those assets. So all those things are done in asset accounting. And finally, you have the bank accounting, which means whatever bank related transactions, you are receiving the payments, you are making the payments, what is the bank balance available in the bank reconciliation, all those things are done within bank accounting. Okay, so just one slide on each. Okay, so maybe I'll not go through this. You will automatically get whatever we are discussing. Instead of going through the theoretical topics, I'll focus more on the practical part, but I'll share the slides with you so that you can also go through it whenever you have time. Okay, so let me just see if there is anything more that I need to tell you apart from these explanations. I'll come to this point. Yes, now the next topic that we will discuss is the enterprise structure. Okay, so now you have to think in the way that you are the consultants. Okay, maybe before that, let me clarify who are consultants. So in SAP, before I talk about enterprise structure, types of users or type of people involved in SAP. Okay, types of users instead of people. Types of users who are part of SAP system. Number one, the first one is consultants. Number two is power users, which are also called as super users. Number three is end users. Okay, now what is the difference between these three? And after the course, you are going to become the consultant or the power user or the end user. Okay, because in this course, we are going to talk about all the activities that the consultant will do, all the activities that the end user will do, and all the activities that a power user can do. Okay, but what is the difference? So, as I told you, let's take an example of a company. Manufacturing company, which is ABC, let's say what it manufactures, let's say chemicals, ABC Chemicals Limited. Okay, this is a company who wants to implement SAP. Okay, ABC Limited is currently using Tally. Okay, due to growth in business processes, growth in the volume of business processes. What do you mean by volume? So transactions are increasing, right? Volume of business processes. So earlier they were happy to manage in Tally, but now the business processes are like, earlier there were only, let's say, 10 invoices in a day. Now it is happening thousands of invoices in a day. So they are not able to get proper reporting and all. Okay, and they are also growing. So when they are growing, they also want their system to grow. And that is the reason they decided to implement SAP. Right? Now, what do you think? How they should start? Where they have to start? If they want to use SAP, what they have to do? Please contribute, Minal, Shrikant. If you just listen, then it will you will not be able to get the 100% of this training. You need to contribute.
The approach to consultant.
They need a consultant. Okay, but why they need the consultant? You're right. They definitely need a consultant, but why?
Because they are not aware about what is SAP.
Right. Okay.
To take the business requirement and to implement in SAP,
Right.
because
Yes. Yes. What else? Shrikant?
For more time management and accuracy to.
Yeah, accuracy. They don't know. If we don't provide them the training, how will they accurate do the transactions? Accuracy is also important, right? Okay, I'll give you another example. I am expecting answer from Shrikant, Minal, and Gautam. Okay, before that I will not proceed. I'll give you example. Let's say you are staying in a small home. Okay, let's say it is 1 BHK. Now you want to go for 3 BHK. Okay, you decided that my family is growing, I need to shift to 3 BHK. So if I want to shift to the 3 BHK, what are the different steps that I need to take? What are the steps? Anything. Uh, it can be the home, it can be any product that you are using, it can be any electrical appliances that you are using. When you are upgrading, when you are going to the new technology, what are the things? How you will start? What would be the process in short? See, first of all, let's go one by one. So what they need first, the first thing that they need is they need to buy, right? Even if you want to shift from 1 BHK to 3 BHK, पहले buy तो करो. First you have to buy. So number one is to buy the software. Okay. Number two, buy कर लिया. आपने घर 3 BHK खरीद लिया. सीधा रहने जाओगे? क्या करोगे पहले? उसको सेटअप करोगे ना, ये कहाँ पे होना चाहिए, वो कहाँ पे होना चाहिए, राइट? अभी मैंने फर्नीचर वाले को बुलाया और उसको बोला तुम्हारे हिसाब से बनाओ, ऐसा होता है क्या?
उसको
बताना पड़ता है कि हमको क्या चीज कहाँ पे चाहिए, कैसा चाहिए, कितना बजट है. ओके, ये सारी चीजें वी हैव टू टेल, देन ओनली ही विल प्रोवाइड अस द बेस्ट इंटीरियर एंड ऑल, राइट? सिमिलरली जब हम एसएपी खरीदते हैं, हमने खरीद तो लिया, लेकिन डायरेक्टली थोड़ी ना यूज कर पाएंगे उसको. वी विल नॉट बी एबल टू यूज इट डायरेक्टली. बिफोर वी स्टार्ट इट यूजिंग, जैसे हम लोग फर्नीचर वाले को बुलाते हैं, एक्सपर्ट को, हमको फर्नीचर बना के दो, वैसे ही हम लोग कंसल्टेंट को बुलाते हैं कि हमको इंप्लीमेंट करके दो. प्लीज हेल्प अस इन इंप्लीमेंटिंग एसएपी. ओके, सो व्हेन यू आर इंप्लीमेंटिंग एसएपी, एट दैट टाइम you need to provide proper requirements कि हमको क्या क्या SAP से चाहिए, what are our business processes, right? So the consultants will sit with you, they will understand your requirements, based on that they will prepare the system. Okay, एक बार system ready हो गया, अभी रहने के लिए, घर की बात में तो रहने के लिए किसी को ट्रेनिंग का जरूरत नहीं पड़ता है कि कुकिंग ऐसा करना है. बट स्टिल अगर तुम कुछ नए चीजें खरीदते हो, लेट्स से टिल नाउ 1 BHK में आपका नॉर्मल वॉशिंग मशीन था, नाउ इट इज इलेक्ट्रॉनिक वॉशिंग मशीन, तो उसका ट्रेनिंग देना पड़ेगा, हाउ टू यूज इट. यू आर यूजिंग ओल्ड गैस, नाउ इट इज ऑल ऑटोमेटेड गैस, यू नीड सम ट्रेनिंग हाउ टू यूज दैट गैस. ओके, सेम वेट आपको टैली पता है कैसा यूज करना है, बट ऐसे भी तो हमने देखा ही नहीं है, एंड यूजर्स है. So we need to provide the training. Who will provide this training? Again, consultants. So consultants are those person who are responsible to make sure that end user, जब तक end user के हाथ में system नहीं आया, जब तक वो काम करना चालू नहीं करेगा, consultant का काम रहेगा in the implementation project. But implementation is one time. अभी आपका घर बन गया, आपने रहना भी चालू कर दिया, 10 दिन के बाद में आपको पता चला, अरे यार ये तो मैंने इसको ऐसा बोला था, इसको ऐसा बना के गया, फिर क्या करोगे? फिर से किसको बुलाओगे? सो अगेन एसएपी आपने इंप्लीमेंट कर दिया, 2 दिन के बाद, 10 दिन के बाद कोई एरर है और you said कि ये मेरे requirement में नहीं था, मुझे तो ये थोड़ा change करके चाहिए, again you will call consultant. So consultant का ऐसा नहीं implement हो गया तो खत्म. Consultant will remain always as a part of support project. किसी यूजर को नया फंक्शनैलिटी ऐड करना है, कंसल्टेंट को बुलाओ. किसी यूजर को प्रॉपर ट्रेनिंग नहीं मिला था, या जो उसको ट्रेनिंग मिला था रिक्वायरमेंट उसने बताया ही नहीं था, अभी उसको कुछ नया करना है, he wants to try something new. Just 1 minute. I hope all of you are okay if I speak Hindi in between. कोई बाहर से तो I think as of now today तो नहीं है. Minal, Vaibhav, you are fine, right? If I mix Hindi.
Yes, Vikram.
Okay. So, in short, what we were discussing is the role of the consultant will not go once the system is implemented. Okay, you will be working on support project. यहाँ पे whatever inquiries, whatever questions the end user has, he will raise and you have to solve those questions. You have to explain him, okay, if you are doing this, do like this. If you are facing some error, this is the reason why you are getting error. आप GL account गलत डाल रहे हो, या cost center गलत डाल रहे हो, that is the reason you are getting this error. So consultant is not actually going to use the system. Consultant खुद ट्रांजेक्शन नहीं करने वाला है. कंसल्टेंट फर्नीचर वाला खुद आके घर पे नहीं रहने वाला है. He is just making sure कि whatever is required for the end user, he is supporting on that. So that is consultant. So consultant सबसे पहले आते हैं प्रोजेक्ट में. जैसे ही कस्टमर ने डिसाइड किया कि I want to go for SAP and I finalize the vendor who is going to implement SAP for me. Same way, मैंने घर लिया, फर्नीचर वाला कौन रहेगा, I will see 10 different furnitures, I will take their quotation and finally I will decide on one. जैसे ही डिसाइड किया उसके लोग आके काम करना चालू कर देंगे. Similarly, customer has decided to implement SAP. He will take quotation from IBM, he will take quotation from Accenture, he will take quotation from maybe some of the smaller companies. Finally, he will give the project to one of the company. जैसे ही प्रोजेक्ट मिला, उनके कंसल्टेंट्स आपके ऑफिस में आके बैठ जाएंगे, they will understand your requirements and they will start implementing SAP. Okay, and that is the reason consultant का travel ज्यादा रहता है, because wherever is a customer, you may need to travel. Okay, so ऐसा नहीं कि अगर टीम में 20 लोग हैं तो 20 के 20 लोगों को कस्टमर के साइट पे जाके बैठना पड़ता है, ऐसा नहीं. If there are 20 people, it can be okay. 5 जो आपके seniors है, they will go to the customer place and remaining 15 will work whatever is told by the seniors. Okay, sometimes 20 के 20 को जाके बैठना पड़ता है कस्टमर साइट पे. Okay, so consulting में the reason there is travel is because you need to sit in front of the customer and understand their requirement and provide the solutions. Clear now what are consultants? End users are those users who are actually going to do the transactions. Then who are the super users and power users?
Super user can be the person who has knowledge related to SAP and the business.
Yes, right. So they are the mediators, we can say. They are between consultants and user. I'll give you one example. User को एक issue है और user wants to change something in SAP system. अभी अगर user वो issue consultant के पास लेके जाएगा, user got some error and he wants that error to be solved. If end user directly goes to consultant तो बाहर का आदमी है, वो करके देगा, सब कुछ करके देगा, but he will definitely charge for it. अगर वो एक दिन का काम करेगा तो एक दिन का कंसल्टिंग चार्जेस आपको बिल भेजेगा. तो अगर थोड़ा सा काम कंसल्टेंट का, अगर मेरा कंपनी में जो लोग बैठे हैं, if they can handle on their own, ओके, एक छोटा सा इशू है, वो छोटा सा इशू पहले मैं अपने सुपर यूजर को बताऊंगा. अगर सुपर यूजर के पास ऑलरेडी उसका सॉल्यूशन है तो मैं कंसल्टेंट के पास जाऊंगा ही नहीं, राइट. बट don't get confused, there are two different things here. There are some consultants who can also be deputed in your organization. मतलब एक मैन्युफैक्चरिंग कंपनी है, वो बोलेगा मैं कंसल्टेंट बाहर से क्यों लूं, मैं अपने कंसल्टेंट हायर करता हूं SAP के. there are a lot of companies who have their own SAP consultants, right? So that is in-house consultants only, those are not super users. Super users कौन रहते हैं, जिनको limited knowledge रहता है. It is not कि they can do everything as a consultant. They will be kind of mediators between you and the consultant, end user and the consultant. So अगर end user से consultant directly बैठेगा तो he may not be able to understand his requirements properly. जो सुपर यूजर्स रहते हैं उनको थोड़ा नॉलेज रहता है बिजनेस का और थोड़ा नॉलेज रहता है कंसल्टिंग का, तो वो एक मतलब मीडिएटर के थ्रू दे विल अंडरस्टैंड द रिक्वायरमेंट फ्रॉम द एंड यूजर एंड दे विल कलेक्ट द इंफॉर्मेशन एंड दे विल गिव इट टू द यू एज अ कंसल्टेंट. सो सुपर यूजर्स आर दोज यूजर्स हु आर कंपनी के ही एम्प्लॉय, मैन्युफैक्चरिंग कंपनी के ही एम्प्लॉयज है एंड दे आर काइंड ऑफ मीडिएटर्स बिटवीन कंसल्टेंट एंड एंड यूजर. कंसल्टेंट कभी भी ट्रांजैक्शन नहीं करेगा, जस्ट रिमेंबर दैट. सिंपल फर्नीचर वाला का काम है फर्नीचर बनाना, वो कभी भी एक रात भी घर में नहीं रहेगा, राइट? सिमिलरली एक भी ट्रांजैक्शन नॉर्मली अ कंसल्टेंट शुड नॉट डू इन द प्रोडक्शन सिस्टम. इट इज अ ऑडिट इशू. अगर किसी कंसल्टेंट के आईडी से कुछ ट्रांजैक्शन हुआ, दैट इज रॉन्ग. Transactions will be only done by the end user. End user is not supposed to touch anything on the consulting part. मतलब आपने घर का एक थोड़ा सा माइक टूट गया, तो don't try to fix it on your own. You don't have access to that. You have to call the consultant. Okay, so there is a proper responsibility. So after this course, some of you may think about consulting. There are already few of them who are already consultants. I think Minal, Vaibhav, Gautam, they are already SAP consultants. Okay, but for you, like some freshers who were into end user till now, so you can also think about moving to the consulting, or you can also work if you are in interest of doing the end user task. You can also do the end user task on SAP. Okay, so both will be covered in this course. Okay, now the clear understanding, consultants, power users and end users. Any questions? Okay, so now sorry, we were here. So customer has bought the software. What is next? Setup करना पड़ेगा. Who will set up? Consultant will do the setup. थर्ड क्या रहेगा? सेटअप होने के बाद सीधा यूज करेंगे, उसको टेस्ट करेंगे सही किया कि नहीं, राइट? यस. सो सेटअप होने के बाद में यू विल योर यूजर, हु विच यूजर? पावर यूजर प्लस सुपर यूजर, दोनों मिलके. पावर यूजर, सुपर यूजर, एंड यूजर, सॉरी, तीनों मिला के, मतलब दिस इज वन एंड द सेम थिंग. पावर एंड सुपर यूजर इज वन एंड द सेम थिंग. सो पावर और एंड यूजर विल डू टेस्टिंग. कौन सा टेस्टिंग बोलते हैं इसको? यूएटी, यूजर एक्सेप्टेंस टेस्ट. मतलब यूजर को पसंद आया कि नहीं, दैट विल बी डिसाइडेड बाय द यूजर. इट इज कॉल्ड एज यूजर एक्सेप्टेंस टेस्ट. अगर यूजर ने एक्सेप्ट किया, डन. अगर यूजर ने नहीं एक्सेप्ट किया तो पूरा चेंज करना पड़ेगा. ओके, सो दैट इज कॉल्ड एज यूएटी. एक बार यूएटी हो गया, देन देयर इज समथिंग कॉल्ड एज गो लाइव. गो लाइव मींस स्टार्ट यूजिंग द सिस्टम. ट्रेनिंग आएगा, इसमें आएगा. यूएटी से पहले ट्रेनिंग आएगा. सेटअप कर दिया कंसल्टेंट ने, एंड यूजर ट्रेनिंग. यस, मतलब इसमें और भी काफी सारी चीजें हैं, मैं सिर्फ हाई लेवल पे लिख रहा हूँ. सो सेटअप के टाइम पे या सेटअप के बाद एंड यूजर ट्रेनिंग होगा. जब एंड यूजर ट्रेनिंग होगा तभी तो यूएटी हो पाएगा. अगर हम लोग यूजर को बोल रहे हैं आप टेस्ट करो, वो बोलेगा मुझे आता ही नहीं है एसएपी, तो मैं कैसे टेस्ट करूँ, राइट? सो after the end user training is done, then the UAT will be done, and if UAT is finalized, मतलब सब कुछ सही है, then go live. Go live means start using the system. Go live means घर का उद्घाटन कर लिया, रहने को आ गए. और जैसे ही रहने को आए तो फिर तो ये ऐसा हो गया, वो ऐसा हो गया, ये खराब है, तो पहले के 8-10 दिन बहुत तकलीफ होता है. सेम वे एसएमबी में भी जैसे ही गो लाइव हुआ, फर्स्ट मंथ मतलब कंसल्टेंट का हालत खराब, ये इशू आया, वो इशू आया, तो मतलब फर्स्ट इट इज कॉल्ड एज हाइपर केयर सपोर्ट. मतलब कस्टमर का हाइपर केयर हो जाता है, बिकॉज दे विल फाइंड लॉट ऑफ इश्यूज. ओके, सो गो लाइव के बाद देयर विल बी सपोर्ट. सो फर्स्ट मंथ के लिए हाइपर केयर रहेगा, उसके बाद में नॉर्मल सपोर्ट. मतलब कुछ भी इशू आया तो यू हैव टू हैंडल दैट. So this support will be also handled by whom? Consultants. Go live के बाद में start entering the transactions. Who will be entering the transactions? End users. So buy the software ये तो हमारे हाथ में नहीं है. Okay, that is customer decision वो किससे buy करना चाहता है. हमारा काम कहाँ से चालू होता है? Setup से. So what we need to do first, अगर हमको end user का सीखना है, transactions करने हैं, अगर हमको support provide करना है, सबसे पहले क्या करना पड़ेगा? We have to set up the system. और सेटअप में सबसे पहले क्या सेटअप करना पड़ता है? सबसे पहले we need to set up the enterprise structure. Now what is enterprise structure? Enterprise structure means हमको सेटअप करना किसका है? कोई भी आप कंपनी में जाओगे, ये कंपनी एबीसी केमिकल लिमिटेड, तो ये कहीं तो हमको सिस्टम में लिखना पड़ेगा ना कि दैट वी आर डूइंग दिस फॉर एबीसी लिमिटेड. अभी एंटरप्राइज स्ट्रक्चर बनाने के लिए, एंटरप्राइज स्ट्रक्चर सेटअप करने के लिए there are some basic information that we need to capture from the customer. Okay, what is that information? I'll just highlight some pointers. Number one, we need to ask the customer how many companies they have. Companies मतलब सी कस्टमर तो एक ही है, लेकिन उसके लीगल एंटिटी मल्टीपल हो सकते हैं. ओके, लेट्स से फॉर एग्जांपल हम लोग रिलायंस में इंप्लीमेंट करने गए या अमेजन में इंप्लीमेंट करने गए, तो अमेजन का भले इंडिया में एक या दो रहेगा. अभी रिलायंस का बोलोगे तो रिलायंस का तो देयर आर मल्टीपल. रिलायंस केमिकल इज वन कंपनी, रिलायंस स्टील इज अनदर कंपनी, रिलायंस कम्युनिकेशन इज अ थर्ड कंपनी, राइट? सिमिलरली जितने भी कंपनीज है उसमें से हाउ मेनी दे वांट टू इंप्लीमेंट इन एसएपी. ऐसा भी हो सकता है कि एक ही कंपनी है अमेजन इंडिया, बट दे आल्सो वांट टू इंप्लीमेंट इन यूएस आल्सो. So Amazon India is one company, Amazon US is another company. So we need to find out how many companies they have with names. Okay. Second thing that we need to know is what is the financial year for them. अब ये से इंडिया में financial year क्या है?
April to March.
April to March. US में क्या है? Jan to December. There are some countries where it is July to June.
Okay.
Right? There are some companies September to August. Right? So it totally depends. ऐसा we are not going to assume कि नहीं 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 इंडिया का है तो अप्रैल टू मार्च ही रहेगा, बिकॉज इंडियन कंपनी का सब्सिडरी यूएस में भी है, तो यूएस के कंपनी कोड को तो हम लोग इंडिया वाला नहीं कर पाएंगे. इट हैज टू बी जैन टू दिसंबर, राइट? सो वी नीड टू आइडेंटिफाई व्हाट इज देयर फाइनेंशियल ईयर. थर्ड थिंग, you also need to understand how many posting periods they want to allow at the same time. Postings to which months are allowed? So normally क्या होता है, which months are allowed? नहीं, अप्रैल टू मार्च तो सही है, बट टुडे आई मीन सितंबर मंथ. तो अगर मेरा यूजर जाके जून में ट्राई कर रहा है पोस्टिंग करने का, whether we should allow it?
That's a special periods.
नहीं, स्पेशल पीरियड्स यहाँ पे नहीं आएगा. My question is, if a user is trying to make a posting in the month of June, whether system should allow him or no?
Yes.
System should allow? नहीं, सिस्टम से we can stop. सिस्टम को हम लोग बोल सकते हैं कि कौन सा पीरियड ओपन है, कौन सा पीरियड क्लोज्ड है, कौन सा मंथ ओपन है, कौन सा मंथ क्लोज्ड है. बट द क्वेश्चन इज, आपको क्या लगता है कौन सा मंथ ओपन होना चाहिए, कौन सा मंथ क्लोज होना चाहिए? सिंपल एग्जांपल,
Ideally, it should be the previous month and or current month.
आइडियली इसका मतलब क्या?
It means
yes Gautam, sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, system can allow whatever configuration we have done, but as per the business processes, whatever payment has been, whatever goods receipt has been done, so we have to try to finish all the posting in the current month for the previous month.
Yes. Okay. So I'll give you one example. Every month end you need to do the reporting, periodic reporting. You submit these reports to auditors, to shareholders. तो जून का हमारा रिपोर्टिंग बन गया, प्रॉफिट एंड लॉस, बैलेंस शीट सब बन गया. सितंबर में अगर कोई जून में जाके पोस्टिंग करेगा तो वो जो बैलेंस शीट, प्रॉफिट एंड लॉस बनाया वो तो चेंज हो जाएगा. So is it good process to follow? It is normally not.
No.
अगर मेरा मंथ का ऑलरेडी मैंने क्लोज कर लिया है, अगर मैंने उसके रिपोर्ट्स ऑलरेडी ऑडिटर्स को, शेयर होल्डर्स को, टैक्सेशन को सबमिट कर दिए, सिंपल है, मैं टैक्स की बात करता हूँ, बाकी सब छोड़ो. इट्स अ टैक्स. जून का आपने प्रॉफिट दिखाया था 10,000 और उस पर टैक्स भरा 1,000. अभी आप सितंबर में आके फिर से वो 10,000 को 12,000 करना चाहते हो. इज इट अ राइट प्रोसेस? It is not a right process because you already submitted your financial statements to the government. How can you change it now? You cannot, right? So normally ज्यादा से ज्यादा पिछला महीना, वो भी 15th या 20th तक, क्योंकि क्या होता है, if I'm in September today, in order to finalize my August books, 15-20 निकल जाता है. ऑडिटर के एंट्रीज मारने हैं तो अगस्त तक चलता है, बट अगस्त के पहले जुलाई तो अभी तक क्लोज हो जाना चाहिए था ना. So that can be controlled in SAP. You can tell the system in which period posting is allowed, in which period posting is not allowed. So that we have to understand from business कि कितना posting periods open रखना है. Okay, so that is another requirement that you need to have from the customer. Okay, I am just writing the basic requirements here. These are the 3 basic requirements that we need to understand from the customer. Apart from this, how many locations, okay, or products they want to report, required in the reporting. How many locations and products required in the reporting part? What are the different departments? Why we are looking for different departments? Department wise cost निकालते हैं ना, cost center accounting. How much cost per department? अगर मुझे पता करना है कि एडमिन का ये महीने में कितना खर्चा हुआ, तो मुझे एडमिन का डिपार्टमेंट पता रहेगा तब ना. अगर मैंने एडमिन का डिपार्टमेंट ही नहीं बनाया तो खर्चा एडमिन का कहाँ बुक करोगे? So we need to have the list of all those departments for which you are going to book the expenses. Okay, so what are the different departments? What is the financial year? Postings which are allowed in which of the months? So these are the things that we need to collect from the customer, and once this information is collected, we are going to set up these things in the system. Okay, ये सारा information मिलने के बाद में we are going to set up all this information in the system. Clear? Any questions? So what do you want to do? You want to continue or next session में देखेंगे? Continue? Maybe for another 15-20 minutes? Everyone is fine?
Yes, Vikram. Please continue.
Yes, okay. Okay, so now let's say अभी यहाँ पे आंसर लिखते हैं. आपने कस्टमर से पूछा and customer has provided you the answer. How many companies they have with names? So they said we have, okay, we have 2 companies, ABC Chemicals India Limited and ABC Chemicals US. These are the 2 companies that they have. How many locations? So in India, they have the manufacturing plant in Pune and Mumbai. There are 2 plants in India, and in US, no manufacturing plant. Okay, so or maybe in US, 1 manufacturing plant in New York. Right? What are the different departments? जो normal रहते हैं. They have admin, they have HR, they have IT, sales, finance, what else? Production, right? So these are the different departments that they have. What is the financial year for India? April to March, and for US, Jan to December. And postings are allowed in which month? Current month and previous month, दो ही month में, उसके पहले का नहीं. Okay, so postings are allowed only in the current month and the previous month. Before that, the postings are not allowed. So these things, if you want to set up in the system, the first thing that we need to do is SAP में जाना पड़ेगा. अभी ये जो SAP easy access है, this is for the end user. Just give me a minute. Yeah, sorry. So this, I told you, let me explain again. If I log off, okay, again, if I go to this logon pad, which is already open here, double click, it will ask you for user ID and password. Okay, so enter your user ID and password here. Okay, and once you enter your user ID and password, the screen that will get opened is SAP Easy Access. That SAP Easy Access, this screen is for the end users. We are not going to use all these nodes as a consultant. Okay, testing में yes, because before we hand it over to the end user, maybe हमको भी एक दो postings testing करने पड़ सकते हैं, but that will be done in the separate server. वो testing का server अलग रहता है. I will come to that point. What is testing server? What is production server? Okay, but we are not supposed to touch this in the production server. हमारा जो भी configuration होता है, that happens using transaction SPRO. SPRO is a transaction that we will use, and again within SPRO we will use this SAP reference IMG. Okay, so whatever setup that we need to do, that is done from IMG. Okay, and you can see there is enterprise structure. सबसे पहले, whenever you are doing any implementation project, the first thing that you need to do is you need to set up the company code. What is company code? Company code is nothing but कितने companies हैं. We have to create a company code for each legal entity. These are also called as legal entities. Legal entities मतलब जो companies registered होते हैं, those are legal entities. Okay, so we have to create the company code for ABC Limited, ABC Chemicals India Limited and ABC Chemicals US. Okay, in order to do that, I have to go to the definition. Okay, definition, financial accounting. Don't get confused with company. There is a difference between company and company code. Okay, I'll explain you what is a company later on, but as of now, we are going to create a company code, not company. Okay, so definition, financial accounting, and edit, copy, delete, check company code. Just open this. So whenever you are opening, click on this circular button. Don't click on this. This is a documentation which will just provide you information what is this activity all about. So each and every activity has a documentation. You can refer to that documentation. Some documentations are very good, providing you very good understanding of the topic. Some documentations are just the basic text. Okay, so it is not going to providing it is not providing you the complete information about that particular node. System is a little bit slower today. So this is the documentation. Okay, what is company code? What is company code name? So maybe later on, whenever you are practicing, you can go through this. Okay, so click on this circular button. It will open this another window. Double click on edit company code data. Just double click here. Okay, and here you will find the list of all those company codes which are already created in this system. Now this is a test system similar that you are learning. There are a lot of guys who are learning. They created a lot of company codes on their own. But when you are working on the actual project, new implementation project where no one has created anything till now, still you will not see that is blank. The reason is SAP also provides some default company codes which can be used automatically, which means instead of creating everything from scratch, SAP says, okay, I have provided basic, you use that only. Okay, but you can always create a new. So whenever any screen in SAP, whenever you open it, it will show you the list of the things which are already available. On top of that, if you want to create your own, you can always click on new entries. Okay, so these are some of the company codes which are already provided by SAP or maybe someone has created. Okay, these are not all the companies which are by default there. Many of the users who are practicing on this server, there are 649 company codes created in this. Okay, so whenever you want to create your own, you just click on new entry. You have to provide the company code. It is a 4-digit alphanumeric code. 4-digit alphanumeric, which means you can not use more than 4 digits. Lesser is possible. 1 digit, 2 digit, 3 digit, you can use. Second thing, it is alphanumeric. Alphanumeric means it can have numbers or it can have alphabets or it can have alphabets plus numbers. Okay, so maybe S4F1. S4 HANA Finance 1. What is our company code name? AGC Chemicals India Limited. You have to provide the name here. Which city? So wherever there are headquarters. If the headquarters are in Mumbai, you will enter the Mumbai address. If the headquarters are in Pune, you will enter the Pune address. Okay, so let's say Pune. Country. So for country, all the countries are available from SAP. You just need to click on this button. This is called as LOV, list of values. Okay, and when you either you click on this button or in the keyboard, just go for F4. Okay, F4 shortcut key. Okay, so click on this. It will give the list of all the countries which are available throughout the world. Okay, so tomorrow if some other countries like it is possible, right? Similar to states are increasing. Let's say some countries split it into 2 countries. So SAP will provide the update for that, and that country will also get available here. Okay, similar to language, SAP is keeping on adding more and more languages. Currencies, if there are more currencies which are added, those will come from SAP through SAP upgrade. Okay, it is called as SAP Note. SAP Note means any new functionalities which you want to add, SAP provides the SAP Note. Okay, so I want to go for IN, which is India. Currency, again, if you do F4, it will show you the list of all those currencies which are valid in the entire world. Okay, so I can go for, or I can enter also. If I already know, I can enter. It is not necessary to pick it from the list of values. And the language. So these are the languages which are supported from SAP till now. So although it is showing Hindi, but I tried, it is not functional maybe till now. Okay, so most of the time you will be using English. This is a save button. Okay, so whenever you click on save, it will open another screen. It will ask you the complete address information. Okay, so title is, you can write anything, Mr., Mrs., whatever you want, but since this is a company, you can also, if it is not their Messrs, we can also create our own. Normally companies are M/S Messrs, right? So that also we can do. Okay, but we don't need to touch this because there is no such functionality in SAP which is going to impact this. So we can normally use company. Okay, so name whatever we provided there, we will provide here also. ABC Chemicals India Limited. This is a street, house number, postal code, city. So if you have all this information, definitely when you are working in the real-time project, you need to enter all this information. You need to gather this information from the customer. But as of now, only mandatory fields are highlighted with this tick. So country is mandatory. Without country, system will not allow us to save. But if you are not entering the street number, postal code, city, it is fine. Maybe later on, once we have that information, we can come and enter. Okay, so as of now, I am entering the mandatory information, IAM, which is India. Okay, and then click on this tick button. It is loading. Okay, and then whenever you are trying to save, this type of pop-up will come. Okay, I'll tell you what is this pop-up. As of now, just you need to click on continue. Okay, so in this way, we create a company code. And once the company code is created, then we need to assign, we also need to create this Pune and Mumbai as a plant. We need to create New York as a plant. We need to create these different departments. Okay, so that is something which will be followed in the coming sessions, because this department and all, it will take around 2 more sessions to reach at this point. Okay, so maybe after the next week, you will be able to set up at least the basic enterprise structure. And then once the enterprise structure is set up, then we can do some transactions. We can post some entries. After the enterprise structure, we also need to create the GLs. We also need to create these cost centers. So those topics will follow. Okay, so maybe we can stop today. Okay, and sorry, yesterday I was not able to send you this document because I got busy. So what I'll do is, by today evening, both the recordings, yesterday's recording, today recording, with this document, with PPT, I will forward it to you. Utilize this 5 days. Just go through these videos if you want. If you don't need, maybe you can just go through this document. Okay, and server access I'll provide you from next week, because this week I'm not giving you any assignment in the server. So there is no point in giving the server access now. Next week I'll provide you the server access where you will be doing the transactions on your own. So from next week onwards, whatever things I'm doing in the system, same thing you have to do at least 3 times during the week, so that you get the hands-on. Okay, any questions?